This is my favorite episode I've recorded to date. No doubt about that. This is the Off Market Operator podcast. I'm your host, Ruud-Johnson. If you're new here, we give away 10 to 15 minute bite-sized episodes on stuff that actually moves the needle. I do have longer guest episodes sometimes, but for the most part, it's me telling you what's working, what's not working, and how you can improve and go from a person chasing down deals to owning a business that transacts deals. And this episode is one you want to listen to probably 3 or 4 times, take notes. But I'm not going to waste any more time. I do promise short episodes, so let's get right into the show. People don't fail at real estate because they suck. They fail because there's too many ways to succeed. That's why I suggest you focus on the most important skill in all of real estate, which is finding deals. I'm Ruud-Johnson, and in this podcast, I share the exact steps I've used to source 400 deals by age 24. This will allow you to do 3 things: control your deal flow, make unlimited income, and build your empire as an off-market operator. Marketing is an incredibly important part of this business. It's what I talk about a lot. And I've had a lot of requests. I put a poll out and most people voted. They want to just hear more about sourcing deals. And that comes first off, what I've always looked for as a marketer, right? Because as a business owner, I like to say, you'll never be a master at one thing, but you'll be dangerous at a lot of things. And I was always dangerous with marketing, right? I'm not a CMO. I'm not a MBA level marketer, but I do understand marketing basics. And I've always looked at how do we market in ways that other companies aren't in this business. One of the primary things that I think about a lot is how do we find places where people aren't looking? Because everyone does mail, cold calling, pay-per-click, but how can we increase and improve our strategies so we are talking to people that a lot of people aren't talking to? And in this episode, I want to go through a couple of different ways you guys can, be prioritizing people as your ICP, your ideal client profile, ideal customer profile, to people who actually want to talk to you about your product. And your product, your offer is whether you're buying. If you listen to this podcast, you want to source more deals. That's the end of the story. Commercial, industrial, residential. So if you want to source more deals and your product is buying people's homes from them or buying people's assets from them direct, then you want more ways to talk to people that fit that ICP and that stand out and that are urgently needing to talk to you, right? That's the dream of every company, is how many people who fit our ICP, who need to take action, can we talk to? That's ultimately the lead indicator if a business is going to grow or not, because revenue cures all, right? So as you grow, you have operational issues, you have client issues, you have employee issues. If you have consistent revenue, you're talking to your ICP and they're motivated, revenue cures all, you'll eventually figure that stuff out. How do we look in places and look under rocks that most people aren't looking at? And there's something that I recommend doing that a lot of people don't, which is out-of-state, absentee, expired listings on single-family, commercial, industrial. So the one place you can look if you're doing outbound marketing of any kind is looking at expired listings. So that could be commercial, residential, whatever asset class you choose, and people that don't live in the state. Because for me, that's about as motivated as you can get. If I owned a property in Alabama and I live in California, which I do here in San Diego, and I listed that property, for some reason it didn't sell, there had to have been a significant motivation for me to sell that property, to try to sell that property. And those are great avatars. So targeting that list has been a great way for us to get our cost per lead and cost per deal down. And I think a lot of people will get value out of that. The second way is a tool that's more expensive. It's called ValPro Plus, if you Google it. It's by Weiss Analytics. Weiss Analytics is built by a data guy who primarily focuses on single-family real estate. So it's really a single-family real estate product. And what ValPro Plus is, VALPRO Plus is, it's a satellite imagery real-time tool where they rank properties based on the exterior condition of the home. So imagine being able to drive for dollars virtually, where instead of having to get in your car and drive and find these properties that most people aren't calling, you have satellites doing it for you. And they're looking for overgrowth, vegetation, tarps on roofs, holes in roofs, cars in lots, dated homes, pools that are green because they haven't been taken care of. They're looking for things that stand out. And we sampled that list. It's more expensive, but it's a great way, if you have the money, to get a leg up on your competition. Again, look under rocks that most people aren't looking under. No data set's perfect, but if you really hone in on these people, there's a lot of deals there, and a lot of people aren't talking to them because most people at scale do not drive for dollars at scale. So that's another great way to find those people that meet that criteria for you. The next way, and one of my favorite ways, has always been the golden address. And so what the golden address is when you skip trace a list using a service like EasyButton, skiptrace.com, you're going to get back an updated address, or we call the golden address. And it's been talked about quite a while in real estate, but it's essentially when someone moves and the credit bureau just picks up their change of address, it's their new address. So they're not getting a ton of mail there yet. They're not getting a ton of outreach yet. And so you can get a leg up on your competition by targeting that address as well. So a lot of looking where people don't isn't just about how we outreach or how we choose who we do outreach to. It's also about your funnel, because most people do not spend any time thinking about their sales funnel when it comes to working with sellers, right? Because a lot of times real estate investors, they haven't actually ran other companies and they haven't had to think about, hey, how do we optimize our show rate? How do we optimize our pre-call materials? How do we make sure the seller's educated on our offer before we even talk to them? And so there's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about here that I recommend adding to your sales process, which will exponentially increase the advantage you have over your competition. The first one is a VSL. And in the online world with online businesses, a video VSL is a video sales letter, or a letter from an owner or a person in a company walking them through the product and why they would not be a good fit. But it's educational. And most real estate companies do not do this. And so what I would want you guys to do is record a 10, 20-minute video. And if you guys want to see an example VSL, you can go to offmarketoperator.com and you can see the VSL that I used for that online business, which is one of our consulting businesses. I'm not here to plug that. I'm just telling you, if you want an example of what a VSL looks like, that's awesome. You can also go to hellopad.com. You can see our TV commercial that we run. That was a mini VSL, right, that we run on TV. But a VSL is a way to, usually can be 5 to 20 minutes, and it educates your seller. So once you cold call someone, they get into your funnel, you can automatically have it email them the VSL, and you can text them, say, hey, please watch the VSL. And it gives them that one professional feel, but you're going a step further than most companies are. And we are a commodity business. There's a lot of real estate investors out there because the barrier to entry is pretty low on investing in real estate. But the barrier to owning a real estate investment company and doing these things the right way is high, because most people don't know how to actually operate a business. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're learning, you're becoming an off-market operator, an actual business owner. And so a great way to accelerate your sales pipeline is by using VSLs. And it'll change the game. It'll help your sellers become to calls more educated. It's not a groundbreaking thing, but most investment companies aren't using it. Okay. What else? Pre and post call materials. So when you're working your pipeline, having a cool packet, almost like a pitch deck, but a packet that you can send to sellers that tells them who you are, what you're about, how they can find out more about you, how they know you're legit, other deals you've bought, and things of that nature. Pre and post call materials are important. They educate the seller. They make you seem more professional. All very, very good things. And something I think that people are really missing the boat on, almost 10 times out of 10, is understanding testimonials and the amount of power testimonials have on your business. And this is the main thing I want to hit on this episode, which is called the video postcard strategy. And what you can do, especially if you're specialized, you're doing development, you're doing fix and flip, you're doing all this cool stuff, is you can have your seller, you go out and you film it, or you film out the title escrow company, you have them, the best case, in front of their house, talking about their experience with you, why they love to work with you. And you can even pay them $150 to $500 to do this for you. And they're going to talk through for 30 seconds about why they love working with you, how easy it was, how awesome you are. Get 2 to 3 of these. And what you can do is off Alibaba or AliExpress, you can order in bulk video postcards and you can mail out to people. There's some mail houses that do it for you too. And what a video postcard is, and what a video postcard does, is it's an incredible way to educate your sellers and have them have faith in you, because they're gonna get a postcard in the mail after you've already been cold calling them. So this is, again, a post call material. They're gonna open it up and say, hey, we've really appreciated talking to you. Well, please watch this 90-second video of past people we've worked with. They're gonna go. It's gonna open up. There's gonna be a little LED screen. It's gonna play that preset testimonial. And that is an incredibly powerful way for you guys to also get a leg up on your competition. Because that's what this is, right? In commodity businesses like ours, you always have to be thinking about operationally how you can get a leg up on your competition. It's a real thing that you have to have. So test them. So far we've covered different marketing strategies. We've covered VSLs, pre-call, post-call material. The last thing I want to go over and kind of dive into in depth is your post-closing process. Okay. So how do we turn a seller who we just closed a house with into a raving fan who tells all their friends and family about your company? We incentivize them, and not many people do this. Real estate agents do this, right? They have referral programs, or they have client dinners, and they make it a thing where people want to tell their friends about their experience with them. And a lot of agents build massive companies just off referral books of business. So how do we build a referral book of business with off-market sellers? It's trickier. Well, my favorite way is after a deal closes, you incentivize them. You say, hey, if you bring someone and they use me, you are going to get a up to $5,000 check in the mail every single time you do that and we close on the property. And you give them a phone number to send people to. a custom phone number for them through Callwell or a software like that, and you can track people that they send in. Okay, what that does is every single, say you do 50 deals a year, 5 years in, you have 250 sellers who are all incentivized, and $5,000's a lot of money to anytime they're at a dinner or a banquet or they're at someone's house and they say, hey, I might think about selling my rental property, or hey, my house is kind of beat up and I need to sell it. They're going to go, hey, I have someone you need to talk to. And let's say only 5% of these people actually do this. So 12.5 people do that. The exponential momentum you get over time of them telling all their friends and family about you, you will build a multiple 6-figure a year book of business for yourself in terms of buying homes just off this. And also, guess what? You can partner with realtors. And so if it's not a good fit for you, you can refer it out to a realtor for a referral commission, and you can still monetize that relationship. And that's what good businesses do, you guys, is they find ways to increase revenue per customer. And that's the best way to increase revenue per customer in this business, because we're not a recurring revenue business. That show was incredible for me to record, you guys. I think, again, the barrier to entry in the real estate investment world is low, but the barrier to entry in terms of running a good business is high. And so you always got to be looking at how you can run a good, successful business. And if you listen to all this, you don't take into account anything except for one thing. That'll be the last part of the show when I go into building a referral network and building and increasing your revenue per client, and how that can compound and become a very good book of business for you long term. So as always, likes, reviews mean the world. Share on your story, share with me, send me a message saying you love it, hate it. I don't really care. Feedback makes us be able to come up with better and better shows for you guys. And as always, you are truly only one deal away.